There once was a place enchanting your darkest desires. There once was a road that crossed all your tranquility. A fight for true love, a fall for timeless lust, secrets of the labyrinth, destroyed bonds at the glance in a mirror. Hearts closed, thorns in prison, a spirit hardened. Rise up, warrior, confess your truth. Join us inside Black Garden. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Creative Dominion podcast with your host, Dark Law. And we have an exciting guest for the episode 9 of the Black Garden series releasing September 24. We have Miss Lainne Love out of Toronto, Canada. How are you, Lainne?
I'm amazing. Thank you so much. It's great to be here with you.
Awesome. It's great to have you on the Creative Dominion podcast, especially for you to take the audience inside the Black Garden. And so, can you tell the audience a little bit about you?
Sure. I am a mama. I always love to start with that because that is my best, most important title, the thing I'm most proud of in my life. And I'm also an award-winning spiritual psychology coach and a best-selling author. I've written a book called How to Use Hypnosis to Master Your Brain, and also another book called A Bigger Mission. And I really love helping people to do just that, to step into their bigger mission and leave their legacy of love, because we are all here to do good work, important work, and you matter and your mission matters. And when we live into our mission and we each contribute to creating the better world that we're all looking for.
Awesome. And so, like I start every episode with, this is one of my favorite topics. I talk a lot about, focusing on your assignment, which is, focusing on, your greater purpose in life and, everything we're going to discuss in this episode, resonates with, Dark Law and the Creative Dominions. I'm very excited for this wonderful episode 9 inside the Black Garden. And so, like I start with every episode, I encourage everyone to look in the mirror. Everything that is said here today may not resonate with you all the way. We might say something or have a topic where it's like, I'm not sure what that means, or I've never experienced that. But I encourage everybody listening and viewing here to find one thing that resonates with you that you could take and apply daily to your life to, again, to create a dominion of your own mind and continue to strive to be the best version of yourself. And so, again, as we're listening, the question I want you to ask yourself in the mirror throughout today's episode is, what is my greater purpose? What is my assignment? And again, buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride, and welcome inside the Black Garden. And so, first question I have with you, I know you said that you was a award-winning spiritual coach. And so how did you get, from an early age, how did you get, started into that?
Didn't even know it was a thing or that I could do it or would want to do it. Probably like many people out there, I had an idea as to what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people, and I was always interested in healing. Because I also came from a toxic background. So my family and myself needed a lot of healing. So one, I was just interested in it because I was always the friend that my friends would come to get support and advice. So it came naturally to me. And also just by way of my experience in life was that I needed to do a lot of soul healing for myself and also my lineage. And so I started that journey studying science. I thought I wanted to wear a white coat and be very respectable. And a part of that also just came from where I grew up and how I grew up. I had a single mama, a teenage single mama with 4 kids, and so I didn't want to have that life, and so my choice was also based on what I didn't wanna have. But when I was studying in university, I just found, maybe like many people listening, that a university wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, and, it didn't provide the answers I was looking for. I thought it was a place of, like, profound, deep questioning and learning and exploration, and I found it to be more like just, like, repetitive regurgitation. I had, walking and talking things out and exploring like the ancients, right? Like many things in my life, I was very naive about the actual reality of it. So I also learned about traditional Chinese medicine. I had the opportunity to live in Asia before I went to university, and my curiosity was piqued, and a resonance also occurred there. Like, wow, isn't it interesting how they explore health and wellness and the diagnostics that they use when they're determining, what's off balance in your body and how to get to the root cause. That seemed way more interesting to me than what we were doing in Western allopathic medicine. However, it's really, really important and cool that we have emergency medicine and we have a lot of really wonderful things to celebrate in Western medicine. It's just not the one-stop shop. There are other, opportunities and options for the things that I was interested in, which is more like the root cause. Why? What was the inception point? And so that set me on a journey for that. And then I studied shiatsu, and in that was traditional Chinese medicine. And then I learned more about the meridians and then energetics. And then from there, it was just like a big rabbit hole of all of these amazing, wonderful things that there are to study in the alternative wellness space. And I went down that rabbit hole, and I continue to go down that rabbit hole, which is what led me more to integrating spirituality into
I love what you just said. I hope you guys are listening. She said two very key things throughout the beginning of her journey. First, she said she again came from a single parent household with three other siblings, so four of them. And what she's saying, and I hope this resonates with everybody listening and viewing right now. What is she saying is she is human. Again, there's no perfect being. She went through, I don't know, there's somebody out there that, maybe has the same experience. Maybe you came from a single parent household, or maybe you had different experiences like that resonate with that. And what she's saying is, she's human. And another thing she did say is she saw the life that she didn't want. And so I encourage you out there, if you're still trying to, as we go through the episode, we're going to dive deep into finding your purpose, right? We said focus on your assignment. And so if you're listening or viewing and you have yet to find, the life, maybe you don't know what you want, maybe you're young and, maybe you don't know what you want to study at university or college, or maybe you're, older, kind of, progressed through life a little bit and you're like, I'm kind of in a stuck place, or kind of, lukewarm and it's stuck in limbo. Think about what you don't want and go after the opposite. And so I love that you said, again, the life that's put in front of you, you have the power to change it. You have the power to decree the dominion of your own mind, and you have the power to create your own legacy. And so I commend you for, not, being stuck in that, in the sunken place of just, going through the motions, or this is what my mom did, or this is what my family did, so I have to do the same. I commend you for kind of thinking outside the box and following your own path. And so on that, what is one of the greatest experiences that had, as you were going down that rabbit hole of, your studies?
It's always after the fact, right? Because just as you said, thank you. Thank you for all of those beautiful words and for that recognition. It wasn't easy, and it's okay if it's not easy for you. And I fell down a lot, and it took me a really long time to figure out exactly how the puzzle pieces fit together. So, I started with one thing, and then I'd be like, "That oh, that isn't it. Ah, damn it." But I just studied that for 4 years. How could that not be it? Oh, people are gonna think I'm so flaky, or like, how is it that I don't know what I wanna do because I keep I did this and that's not it, and now I've studied this for a couple of years and that's not it. Um, yeah, don't give up and keep going, and it's okay if you've studied however many things you've studied. I've studied, I don't know, 15 different things. Um, and it's okay that none of them were it exactly, because all of them together are actually it. And it took all of those steps for me to figure that out. And that might be your road too. So just keep going, because it's after the fact. For me, that was my story, and it doesn't have to be yours. But if it resonates with you, then sit with it. It's I feel like I had to take like 500 steps forward, whereas, if I was comparing myself, which sometimes I do because I am human, like, why did they only have to take 5? Why do I have to take 500? What's going on here? Because that's my path. That's my journey. That's my story, and that's the life that I decided to to design for myself, and I know that there's a purpose there. And again, integrating that spiritual element to that our lives are more than this like simple human life that we think that we're living. First of all, even being human isn't simple. It's actually quite complex, but our life that we're living right now, all of the different factors that come into you choosing this life, this vessel, this place, this time, there are so many different factors that went into that, and who knows what are the lessons that you chose to learn in this life, or what karma you have chosen to heal, or what mission that you decided to take on, and in that mission, or in healing that karma, or whatever it is that you're here for, all of the skills, talents, and abilities that you need, that are required for you to fulfill that. It's all gonna look different for everybody, and I just think that I chose a complicated a mission for myself, for this person that I am in this life. And so I needed to acquire a lot of different knowledge, a lot of different skills, and to do different layers and levels of healing to be able to do my bigger mission so that I could leave my legacy. And so that's really the most important thing that I've learned along this journey.
Glad you said it. What she's saying, y'all, is try, fail, adjust, right? You're not gonna have a light bulb moment like the cartoons where it's like, I don't need to study anything else. I found it. I got it. I'm perfect. I don't need to learn. I don't need to apply anything. I found the one thing. What she's saying is you have to be steadfast in your journey, and you have to be intentional with your thing. Again, she's intentional with. And I want to encourage the audience again to don't wallow in self pity. What she said is she had to try many, many different times. Again, she said she studied for the same curriculum for 4 straight years before figuring out that wasn't the one. I want that to resonate with everybody because I think a lot of times we kind of, things, we go through life and, we have bumps in the road and, life hits us in the face and we kind of just sit in self pity, for an extended period of time before we make the next step. And I just want to encourage the audience to try, fail, adjust, be intentional with your intention, right? Again, spirituality is just one of those things In my honest, I'll just say this. There's a song as a rap song by Meek Mills, and he says, there's three type of people in life: those who make it happen, those that watch it happen, and those that don't know what's going on. And that's how I feel about spirituality because it's there regardless if you want to believe it's there or not. Whether it's the omnipresent, whether it's, your sacrals or, your mindset, your spiritual body. There's so many different, like you said, there's so many different things to study, so many different avenues and rabbit holes to go down. But again, they're there regardless if you want to believe it or not. So it's very, not, I won't say touchy subject, but it's definitely very eye opening and very knowledgeable. Once you start going through that rabbit hole, you kind of don't know, where to stop. Because again, there's so much that you're not taught, it's not necessarily we're mostly only taught the religious side of things or like the what to do in, human form. We're never really taught, what that means for, why do I feel this way? Or, why does my mind react this way to certain things, different vibrations and stuff like that. And you just have to be, don't give up, like she said, and, you know, don't wallow in self pity for too long. Cause again, you'll kind of set yourself back from, again, like we said at the beginning of the episode, what is your mission? You know, what is your assignment? Are you focusing on your ultimate purpose, your greater purpose for your destiny? And with that being said, I know inside Black Garden, spirituality has a big impact on dating and relationships and, how you view yourself as well. And so, how have you used your spiritual practices within your coaching to encourage people to find one's true?
It's getting to know yourself, like, even just as you were saying, we're not taught all of these things. We're not taught a lot of different things, even not just about spirituality, but even about ourselves, about our humanity, about our bodies, and how to navigate being human and how to know ourselves. And the best way to have any kind of relationship, because relationship means, to relate. We're relating to another person. Well, you really get to know um, who you are and how you react and what it is that you actually want. So really when I'm working with clients and we're moving through relationship stuff is 9 times, probably actually 10. 10 times out of 10 is that we're all settling because we're all settling in ourselves, in our lives, and then we expect that settling is what we actually even want. And okay, so what do I mean when I say that? We're all settling. We don't even really let ourselves like dream. Like think about it. Close your eyes for a second right now. And just like do a little daydream. Like and think about okay, what is it that you want for your life? Like what's the vision? Like maybe it's even just for this year. Maybe some of you know what it is for this year. Maybe some of you know like, oh yeah, I want to be a millionaire. Or I want to be a billionaire or a trillionaire. Or I want to create this, I want to be the inventor of this, or I want to sit around and money just comes to me. Whatever your actual dream is, most people can't even answer that question. Truly can't answer that question. It's, well, I like to make like 6 figures and I'd like my job to be like this and maybe get a promotion and have a partner and yeah, it would be okay to have a nice condo downtown. Okay, well, is that your dream or is that what you think is possible for you? So once you get to your dream, go the next step. Okay, so say you have the vision that I just described, like a 6-figure job, a big title, a nice condo downtown, maybe even it's the penthouse. 6 weeks vacation instead of 2. You have, what you think is like, wow, like this is good. I've made it. Once you're in that, well, what's next? What's after that? Because of course that person's gonna also have a dream, right? They've achieved that goal. That's what it is to be human. Once we get something, then we want something else, which is why we always have that feeling of, like, feeling unsatisfied is because we're creators, we're meant to create. It's not being ungrateful, or it's not that it's not enough, it's just that we're dreamers and creators. We're always thinking about, "What can I do next?" That's the point and purpose of being human. I'm veering off a little bit. So then just go to your next level. Okay, well, that next level version of me, now that I have this six-figure job and this fancy title and this penthouse apartment, is, well, I want to be the boss of the company. Yeah, I'm the boss of the company. No, no, I have my own company. I have my own company. Yeah, I have my own company. And I have this penthouse apartment, and I have a house in Mexico, and I take a week off every quarter, and I still have 6 weeks vacation. Whatever that is, I'm just making stuff up. But do you see what the next step is? So that's actually allowing yourself to really get more to the core, to the truth of what it is that you want. So do that exercise, and do that exercise for yourself in your career, and then in your partner, in every area of your life. Because again, we do the, okay, well, I'm tall, maybe I'm a 5'11" as a female, and I really want to date somebody that's 6'4". But, oh, there aren't, and, like, I don't really live in an area where there are a lot of tall people or taller than me. Most people are, like, maybe 5'10" or 5'11", so, like, I'll just ask for somebody that's, like, my height. Is that what you actually want? You see all these little cues or clues or ways that we're actually settling. And when we're actually settling, we're not living into our full potential all around. And then when you get the thing, there's that feeling of a disharmony and unhappiness because you didn't actually get what you want, you got what you settled for. And so that's really, really important, well, in every aspect of your life, but certainly in relationships, because there is a lot of other dynamics that go into that. So if you're not really clear about what it is that you actually want, it causes even more conflict in your life. Does that make sense?
I love that you said that because I think just as humans, especially in a relationship, we settle for what we think in our mind is attainable, right? And what she said, like I said, I hope you guys really paid attention to what she just said. What she said is coordinate your dream. Again, close your eyes, look in the mirror, close your eyes, and dream. Question I want to ask the audience as you're looking in the mirror and closing your eyes, I want you to think to yourself, and you don't have to tell your partner or if you're single, or just tell yourself and think, when was the last time you actually dreamed? Because I've spoken on this a lot, but a lot of times we go through life, you go through childhood, whether it's good, toxic, or, however your childhood went. Then you go off to college, or you get out of the household wherever your parents or caretakers resided, and you become a young adult, and then you're expected to, there's no, again, like we said, there's a lot of, we don't get taught, there's no blueprint for success for everybody. There's not a manual that you get handed when you turn 18 and says, here you go, whatever you want in life is in this book. Read it, and all you gotta do is listen to the book, do everything the book says, and you'll be great. And by the way, the book's only 10 pages, so you don't even have to read a lot. And so, a lot of times, and then we go through adulthood, again, like she said, settling. You get, well, oh, I didn't have a double married family home growing up, so um I guess I'll settle for, or I didn't get a scholarship, so I'll settle for this college. And then I really wanted to get my degree in finance and be a lawyer, but they said I had to wait till next semester to apply for the class to get into the law school. So I guess I'll just not. I'll just study business. And then, when I study business, I don't really like this teacher the first semester, so I'm gonna drop the business class and try again next year. Like we've said, again, like we said, we're just using examples, but you see how slowly but surely you begin to slowly deteriorate when you settle. And then it goes right to dating relationships. Sometimes we have kids early with, a partner that we didn't really want, or, maybe, you know, with someone that we didn't really want. And then it's like, well, I have kids now, so I have to settle for that partner, or I have to settle for, I just need somebody, right? I know there's a lot of people out there that I wonder if this resonates with you, that, I need to have a partner. I need to have a significant other. I need somebody. So, the first person that, smiles at me and says they love me, I'm gonna, yes, that's the one. And so I want to speak on that a little bit. How do you help your clients, and what motivation could you give the audience on avoiding the red flags of
Is learning yourself, like what we started that with, like learning what you actually want. And most of us don't actually even know what we want because we grow up in the environments that we grow up with, in the neighborhoods we grew up with, in the families, or in our friend circles, or even the things that we're watching, and we think that those are the only experiences available. So those are that's my only pool that I can choose from. And so I'm basing on what I think is possible just on that, but we have no idea what's possible. We have no idea, because everything is possible, because somebody on the other side of the world, or somebody down your street, or somebody in the next city, they're having a different experience, and it's completely 100% different than what it is that you're experiencing. That's their reality, so it's a possibility. So it's learning to undo that. It's not that it's right or wrong or good or bad. It's just like that is what you've experienced. If you grew up in the desert, you don't know that there's snow. You don't know what the cold actually like really feels like. Maybe you know that there's snow depending on where you live and what kind of access you have, but you don't actually really know what cold is, right? It's just like an idea, it's a picture, until you've actually experienced it and you know, "Oh my god, cold, it's so cold, oh my god, that's," or it's so wet, or it's so beautiful, or it's so whatever it is, you can't know the experience until you have it, but being aware that there's a possibility. And if you don't know it, then you don't even actually know, "Do I like it?" I think, "Oh, I grew up in the desert, so I'm a hot person, so I only like the desert," and then you go to a tropical island and you're like, "Oh my god, no, I'm a tropical island person. I love it. I feel so at peace here. I feel grounded. I love the smells. I love the way that the air feels." But all the while you were thinking you were a desert person because that was the only experience that you had or were allowing yourself to have. So that's where I love that you really reiterated the point of dreaming. Like, dreaming is so valuable because it's actually what your heart's desire is. That's why you came here, going back to like your mission and your purpose. That's why you came here. You could be born in the desert, but meant to live on a tropical island. That's just where you started. That's not where you're supposed to like spend your whole life and journey. You're supposed to finish it over here. And the journey is you getting there, right? It's the same thing for everything else. It's like, it's figure out what it is that you want. So what do you like? And we can go back to earlier points in the conversation. Well, I don't know what I like, because how do I know it's possible if I haven't experienced? Great question. Well, you can know what you don't like. So for me, growing up with a single mom with 4 kids, well, what don't I want? That's a place to start. Okay, well, I know I don't want that. So maybe what I want is this. Maybe I want to be married. Yeah, how does that feel? It feels good to have like a life partner. I don't know. What do we do? In my dream, what do we do? Oh man, in my dream, we travel around all over the place and we have our own private plane, like dream. actually dream, and we have an island, and, I work a lot because I really like what I do, but I can take a vacation whenever I want to and go wherever and spend a month in the most expensive hotel in Dubai. That's my dream. That's not my dream, but that's just the dream I'm painting for you. The whole idea is to have fun. So you do that in relationship. What do I want? I want somebody who really listens when I speak. I want them to pick me up from work. I want them to rub my feet after work. I want them to make dinner. I want them to open doors. Whatever the stuff is, it's going to be really different for every single person. But just admit to yourself. Admit to yourself. You don't even have to admit it to anybody else to start with. You're never ever going to get it, and you're never going to experience it, and you're going to create conflict in your relationships because you're always going to feel this little ball of resentment or this not enoughness because you're not being honest with yourself. So just be honest with yourself when you watch a show. Start to have, maybe you have a little notebook if you find it really difficult. Like, okay, this is my notebook that I'm keeping with me. Oh, I like that. Write it down. Or you're talking to a friend and you hear something about something that they're doing with their partner. Oh, I like that. You can start to figure out what it is that you actually like. Be honest with yourself and dream and dream and dream. And then you'll start to get the clarity as to what your actual relationship and the vibe and what qualities and characteristics you're really desiring from somebody. And then there's another step. Once you figure that out, is now how do I get to match that? How do I get to be that so I can match that, so I can call it into my life?
Before we, again, one thing she's speaking about is manifestation and decreeing what you want in your life. But before we get to that, one thing she said that's been constant throughout this episode is transparency with yourself. Again, I want to reiterate to the audience that none of this matters if you're not honest with yourself. Be Look in the mirror. When's the last time you dreamed? And then once you dream, be honest within your dream. Don't dream to just to say you dreamt, right? Don't do it like a to-do list or a checklist at the grocery store. Like, I closed my eyes for 5 seconds, like they said, I dreamed. Actually, and don't dream based on circumstance. I wanna call out the audience on that. A lot of
Mhm.
times, whether it's financial struggles, whether it's maybe you're in a relationship right now and you're going through a rough time or a storm in the road, don't dream based on current circumstances. Dream for what your heart truly desires. And I think if you actually confess what you want. And again, it doesn't have to be a lot of this, what we're talking about is within self, right? You have to become the best version of yourself before you could be the best partner, the best husband, wife, the best parent. You have to be the best version of yourself first. And so to get there, again, like we said, you have to be transparent. I want to speak on, I know you've probably seen a lot with clients and just in day-to-day society. Y'all, I encourage everyone to be aware of your surroundings. Because you look around the world today, whether it's social media or people at coworkers or old, high school, college roommates or buddies, fraternities, sororities, what have you. There's a lot of people that, have had their dream killed or are stuck in that place of settling. And I just want to encourage you today to, again, be honest with yourself. And so, what are some things that you've seen within your tutelage to help people, navigate through, reversing that negative mindset of, and then I know there's somebody on here listening that says, well, I grew up in poverty, or I don't really have, I don't think I can dream. What is some
Yeah.
motivation you could give to those that say, well, my dream is,
Definitely been there or been so angry. Like, how do you even have, I don't have the time to dream. I don't have the anything in me to dream. I'm barely surviving or scraping by, or like dreams just kind of make me feel angry, or you don't know because you didn't come from this. Like, listen, I've experienced like all the different types of abuse. I have been knocked down and crawled my way back up several times. It is not pretty. I've had some really uncomfortable, unfortunate experiences in my life. So I really understand what it feels like to have all of the odds stacked against you and very little hope in your heart. So if that's what you're feeling, or just angry, or really feeling like there's nobody that looks like me. Oh, well, but they had, well, at least they had a partner that helped them, or at least they had a loving family that helped them, or maybe they grew up in the right place, or maybe they had their family gave them a little bit of money, or whatever the things are. We can have a bunch of reasons why you didn't do something, which gets you nowhere. Or you can just decide to do it. And that's what I had to do. It's like, okay, well, I don't have all of these things. I don't have any help. I'm a single parent. Because I repeated the pattern, by the way. I repeated the pattern. In many ways, I repeated the pattern and had a lot of undoing to do. So, okay, I am a single parent. I am writing a book. I am working a full-time job. My son is neurodivergent. I have all of these appointments I need to go to. It's just me. I don't have any help. I don't have any more time. So how can I possibly do these things? The answer was, I got to figure it out. Because if I want to get the things done, either you want to get it done or you don't. And at the end of the day, that's the answer. There definitely were times where I got stuck in the feeling sorry for myself and not doing it. And that just perpetuates more feeling sorry for yourself and more lack of results. That's where that can take you. And more anger. Oh, so much anger. I was full of so much anger and frustration. Or you can just say, okay, this is where I am. Okay, I can compare myself and say, well, yeah, it sucks. That's their reality. This is mine. What got me through is what I talked about earlier was just, well, I don't know what my past life was. Maybe I really sucked. Like maybe I have a lot of karma that I need to make up for. Or maybe I decided to take on a really big challenge and see if I could overcome it. You know, whatever the thing is that's going to give you the little bit of peace to be able to make a different choice, have that internal dialogue with yourself. But the thing is, going back to what we keep repeating, is it's actually found within you. Yes, I have definitely had a lot of amazing teachers and mentors and therapists and coaches and all of the things. Often, when I had no resources, what I would do was listen to people and listen to them speak and listen to their stories. It was back in the day before podcasts when I would listen to Hay House Radio for like 8 hours a day. Just listen to people speaking positively about possibilities and things that they've done with their life. So going back to like what it is that you're surrounding yourself with, but it's at the end of the day, it's a choice and you have to find it within yourself. And no matter how far deep you are, how low you are, you do have the spark within yourself, and you can start to pick yourself up step by step, and you just have to make the choice. Anytime I just start feeling sorry for myself, I would say, well, this is the way it is, and I gotta figure it out. So that's the only choice. I'm just gonna figure it out, and I put my energy into, I'll figure it out. I didn't necessarily have the answer. I didn't just like know, well, I'm gonna do this, and this. And the answer was, I'll just have to figure it out. I'll just have to figure it out. And after enough times of saying that, because that became the most important thing, the way starts to present itself. And I wish it was like a big ta-da moment here, lights up the path, and it's so easy and step by step. It wasn't. Maybe it could be for you. I think like all things are possible. And it really could be that way for you. And if it's not, that's okay too. The whole thing is just keep digging deeper within yourself and keep finding that light within you and keep choosing what it is that you're focusing on. You can focus on the problem or you can focus on the potential or the solution.
What she said is it all begins and ends with you. Again, I've said that countless time on Decree of Dominion. Again, it all begins and ends with you. And I want to say, choose your heart again, like I said throughout this episode. Success is hard, failure is hard. Choose your heart. Being the best version of yourself or being, sucking in life is hard. Choose your heart. We also spoke on your surroundings. And again, she used to listen to the radio 8 hours a day. It's positive affirmations. Another question you can ask yourself in the mirror, what are you feeding yourself daily? Is your circle? I want the viewers to understand, if everybody in your circle, everyone you associate with is negative, you're going to have a negative result. They always say you're the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. And if all 5 people suck, guess what? You suck. I just want you to, I want to help somebody, break the barrier and continue to find their assignment and find their true purpose is I want you to know that I know we're in the side of the Black garden on dating relationships. If you all, we see a lot on social media. Oh, they'll never find another man or woman like me. I was the shiznit. I was the best. Things since sliced bread. And you look at all their exes, and they all suck. If all your ex boyfriends or girlfriends suck, you suck. I just want you to know you suck. But it's okay. And you have to acknowledge that, hey, you know, the 5 people I hung around the most suck. And again, like she said, it's a choice. Choose your heart. Do you want to suck or not? And another thing is the word try. There's no such thing as the word try. You either do it or you don't. So either you're going to suck or you're not going to suck. And the question you have to ask yourself in the mirror is, do I really suck? And so the moral of the story is choose not to suck because you have the power to, again, decree the dominion of your mind and become the best version of yourself. And so make sure that when you look in the mirror every night before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning, you tell yourself every day, I will not. And so, a quick question within your spiritual practices. I know we've spoken a lot about, self and finding oneself to find that, successful relationship and become the best version of yourself. How has your, spiritual practices and studies, led you out of your darkest moments?
And before I answer that, on the sucking, choose not to suck and choose to be alone too. It's okay to be alone. It is okay to be alone. If you find yourself surrounded by 5 people that suck and then you suck, you can also choose to be alone. You can choose to take a time out and spend some time with yourself. I guarantee you, you will feel better alone than you will with 5 people that suck, even though it might feel scary. And well, I guess that leads us into the spiritual part because are we ever actually alone? No. It took me a long time to like fully integrate, and I'm still integrating spirituality into my work, but to really see very important role that it plays in my life, but I believe that it plays in everyone's life because we are spirit. We're not humans having a spiritual experience. We're spirits having this experience. And that deep need that we all feel to connect to more, to be more, to know that there's more. I think it's because we know that there is more and that our lives have meaning. So our lives do have meaning, and that meaning is even greater and the purpose is even greater, going back to even what we think is possible than what we think is possible, because we are limited in our understanding, or we aren't limited, but how we've grown up, or you know how we've been socialized has limited us. to really not explore all the things that being a human, all the potentials, all the possibilities, and how we are interconnected, and how our thoughts have make waves and ripple effects, and how we are connected to nature, to animals, to the planet, to each other. When you start to study spirituality and you start to understand that everything has a consciousness, a really profound shift for me was one, learning more about Ho'oponopono with Dr. Hugh Len, and also the Sophia Code with Kyra. But when Dr. Hugh Len was talking about this level, again, it's a big word because it's so important, of responsibility. But he took it so many steps further. Like, it's my responsibility when I walk into a room to be conscious and aware of everything, of the microphone, of the desk, of the table, of the chair, of everything, because everything is consciousness. So everything has within it an energetic imprint. So before Dr. Hulen would even do any kind of participate in a conference, he'd have to talk to the hotel and talk to the room and ask permission and clear things and clear all of the chairs and have all of this exchange with all these structures, with all of these creations, because he was recognizing the consciousness in everything and how we do leave an imprint. And I think that maybe for some people it's like, whoa, that's crazy. But actually, if we just slow it down for a second, we've all walked into a room and felt a feeling, and when nobody was there. Maybe somebody that was just really angry and they left the room, and you walk into the room and it feels a little off. Or maybe there was a lot of joy in that room and it feels like amazing when you walk into it. Or maybe there's a lot of prayer done there and you have a sense of safety or peace. We've all had that experience. And when I recognize that within myself, yeah, actually, I've had that experience. I can recognize that. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Or you sit in one seat and you just automatically move over to another one. Well, it's the same seat. Like, why did you choose the different seat? It's a different imprint. So the more I was open to the realization that I have a responsibility to be more conscious wherever I go, the more I deeply connected to spirituality and the profound impact that I could have positively and or negatively on the environment, and vice versa. And then it just became this really beautiful opportunity to be able to start working on my legacy of love, my bigger mission, which I think is probably everyone's, is to create more love in the world and connection. And I know it sounds like I know I rolled my eyes forever at that. Oh, creating more love. Everybody wants to do that. But when I connect to really that deeper meaning, when I'm talking about that consciousness, like, wow, it actually really matters how I show up in every moment. I'm leaving this energetic imprint everywhere I go. It's so important that actually I'm making a conscious effort to choose the best version of myself. And the best version of myself is coming from love. So actually, I'll walk down the street and I'll just say in my head, I love you, I love you, I love you. Maybe I don't mean it. Maybe I'm really mad, or I'm in my head about something, and they'll say, "No, I'm trying to do this. I'm working on this. I'm creating this new habit. I'm being responsible in a different way. I'm being conscious in a different way. I love you. I love you. I love you." So that's what spirituality really means to me. It's the awareness of my responsibility to be conscious and make a contribution, a positive contribution to the world.
Awesome, awesome. And so again, maybe, you're listening to that, maybe you don't really connect with spirituality, but just on a secular sense, choose to do good, right? Choose to be aware. Again, she spoke on awareness. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of what you actually do and be aware of the consequences or the repercussions. They always say every action has an opposite or equal reaction. Right? We learned that in grade school. Everything you do, whether it's positive or negative, has an effect. And so be the positive cause and impact lives one by one. Again, we always say reach one, teach one. Help yourself become the best version of yourself, and you can help others do the same. And so the Bible does say, leave an inheritance for your children's children. And so I declare that everyone viewing and listening this episode 9 of the Black Garden can decree to leave an inheritance of joy, of love, of guidance, of strength, of confidence within each other, and help others do the same. And so, with that being said, what are some last minute tips, motivation for the viewers and spirituality and finding yourself in dating and relationships?
Yeah, just piggybacking on what you just said, and what I was saying about consciousness. We're talking, the examples I was giving was like walking into rooms or even walking down the street and just being aware. And you get to do that in your relationships with the humans that you're relating to or that you want to get to know. How conscious are you being of how you're showing up in that relationship, of what energy you're bringing forth with you? How conscious are you of their energy or what energy you want to be around and what they're bringing forth? And the more awareness that we have, around how it is, one, what we want, and and two, what we're bringing to the table, not just in the quality of our character, but also in the energy that we're bringing, and also be looking for that in your partner. Great, this is my dream, and this is all also the energy that I want them to bring. And the more that we could actively be doing that, definitely the more the more spiritual, the more connected, the more intimate our relationships are.
Awesome, awesome. So, again, can you tell the audience where they could find your books and your coaching and you on social?
Yes, I am Lainne Love, and you can find my books on Amazon. That's How to Use Hypnosis to Master Your Brain and A Bigger Mission. And you can find me on my website at Lainne, LAINNE.com, or on social media at Lainne Love. And thank you so much for having me. It's been amazing to be here.
Awesome. It's been amazing to have again Lainne Love out of Toronto, Canada, inside Black Garden, debuting September 2024. And so I encourage everyone again to look in the mirror, close your eyes, dream, and dream big. Dream the biggest, dream like you've never dreamt before. And I just want you to either write it down, put it on a notepad on your phone when you get done, or put it on a big vision board for yourself. Do it not for your significant other, not for your family, not for your coworkers or your job. Do it for you. And you'll be surprised where life could take you as long as you put one foot forward in front of the other. Again, help others, reach one, teach one, to become the best version of yourself, decree the dominion of your mind. This has been episode 9 of The Black Garden with Dark Law and Lainne Love out of Toronto. Until next time, and thank you for joining us inside Black Garden. We out. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Create Dominion podcast with your host, Dark Law. Be sure to follow and like on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, and go ahead and follow our Facebook and Instagram pages as well. We hope that you took something and resonated with it, that you can apply it to your daily life to become the best version of yourself and decree the dominion of your mind. Remember, decree and declare and take back your rightful throne and your rightful place into the best version of yourself. Thank you.